Hey y'all, Chef Sarah here, and today we're gonna make grilled cheese and tomato soup. I got inspired because my mom made it a couple days ago, and I wanted to show her that I can make it better than her. Love you, BB. Let's make grilled cheese and tomato soup. Maybe I shouldn't knock on my mom. You know, and who's to say that it's actually better than hers? It's just different.
Tomato soup and grilled cheese, take one.
Are you ticklish?
Well, a little.
The tickle monster's coming to get you. So what I've got in here is I've got about 3 pints, so 3 of those little containers you would get at the grocery store. And I love like getting all the different kinds of tomatoes, yellow, green, zebra, Cherokee, nice grape tomatoes. So those are gonna go in here. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of good olive oil. Make sure it's a good quality olive oil. If you wouldn't wanna like put it on your salad, or if you wouldn't wanna like brush your teeth with it, don't use it. It needs to be good. And make sure you're always tasting your olive oil. Sometimes they can get bitter, they can go bad if you just leave them above the stove for too long in that weird cabinet that doesn't really serve a purpose. Yeah, make sure you're tasting them. So also we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You know, tomatoes, when they're at their height, they are naturally sweet. I like to add a little brown sugar because I'm gonna make a super, super savory grilled cheese. And I like the way the salty and the sweet of the tomato soup will play on that. So a little brown sugar. Then I've got 3 piquillo peppers. So I like to do 1 piquillo pepper per pint. So I'm just throwing those right in there. So this is what we got going on so far. Garlic. And you can see in here, this is some of the juice from the piquillo pepper. That's totally cool to put in there. So the garlic, I am going to just throw that in there too. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Put that piquillo pepper juice in there. So I've got in here so far, again, tomatoes, brown sugar, piquillo peppers, garlic. That's it. Olive oil. Yeah, like very few ingredients. Next, I want to put in there a shallot, and I want to show you a little quick tip on how to use a mandolin. So I've just topped my shallot. Next, I'm going to go back and peel the paper off of it. The paper is super thin. Pull that apart. I'm just taking a little bit of the root off, but you can see how little bit I actually took off. I want the shallot to remain whole. Peel that paper right off of there. And I feel like if a shallot is like the offspring of a garlic and an onion, that's like the nice kid at school. He's like not too aggressive. He's like good to everyone. All the girls want to be with him, you know. At least that's what I think of when I think of a shallot. Maybe his name is like Eduardo, I don't know. Anyway, so we've got mandolin. So this is a great tool for in your kitchen if you want to slice stuff really thin and really quickly. A lot of times though, I'll see people use a mandolin and they have their fingers out like this. You guys, #1 no-no. You're going to take the tips of your fingers right off. Also, the other thing about a mandolin is the way to make it thicker or thinner is this little knob right here. So if you crank it tight, you're not going to get anything. So that's the way to store it safely, is cranked all the way tight because you can't get your finger in that blade. When you want to use it, you loosen it. Nut fingers out, hand like this. So what I'm doing is I'm holding this in the palm of my hand, which obviously sticks up. And as long as I don't put my fingers down farther than these guards right here, I won't cut myself. Do that again. Make the palm of your hand. Nice, thin shallots. They'll also cook really easy. So that's what I'm going for, is I want them to cook in the same amount of time that the garlic and the tomatoes cook. So let's throw these guys in here. The other thing we're gonna do is a big pinch of salt. Salt is gonna leach the liquid out of the tomatoes, so really give it a good pinch. Good big pinch of black pepper too. This is gonna go in the oven about 30 minutes, covered tightly. Aluminum foil. You guys, see the shiny side of aluminum foil? The dull side of aluminum foil? Shiny side goes in. You always wrap the shiny side where you want the heat to go. So we are reflecting the heat back into our thing. If we put the shiny side out, the heat's gonna bounce off It won't get as hot. Shiny side in. All right, I'm gonna throw this in the oven. See you in a few. All right, you guys, so I just pulled these out of the oven. I put them in there with the foil lid on for about 30 minutes, then took the lid off for like 5 minutes because I wanted to get like these little caramelized pieces. Oh my God. It's like sweet, it's salty. I get garlic. It tastes just like tomato. So yummy. The shallot also, you can see here, the shallot is like super cooked and melty. The garlic cloves, they smush right into half. I mean, I want to just put this like on pasta. Or maybe I'll do something super viral where I'll like take this, but I'll put a piece of feta in it and bake it and turn it into pasta sauce. I'm just joking. Nobody gets that. Nobody. It's like the hugest TikTok thing right now to like bake whatever. Ignore that. If you don't have a high like power blender, you can use it like an immersion blender, but it's gonna take you a little bit longer. You really want to whip this. You really want to get it going. One thing that is very important to remember when you're working with hot stuff in a blender is that there's heat, it's expanding, it needs somewhere to go. So don't put this in here and then put the lid on and cap it off tight, or forget to cap it because it's gonna shoot up and go everywhere. I also don't overfill it. As I say that, I think I can get it all in there. Let's see what happens. So you can see how much juice came out of that. So really a lot of juice. Get all those little bits in there. Don't waste anything. Those tomatoes worked hard. Oh, this is like a finger licker right here. All right, so we're gonna go on here. I'm gonna take some whole pieces of basil. I'm just gonna pull the leaves right off. I don't want the stem. Maybe like, I don't know, what is that? 8, 10 leaves, something like that, right in. I like to add the herbs at the end so they have this like really bright, fresh flavor. I'm also gonna put a little bit of balsamic vinegar in there. That was maybe like a tablespoon. Let's put this on. Let's cover this up so it doesn't explode everywhere. Start with your blender on low, right? Low, off. Let's go. Give it a sec. See how it's shooting up through the top? Once this gets really nice and smooth, and I'll show you guys what we got going so far. It's a little chunky. Oh man, is it delicious. And check for seasoning. I want a little more pepper, a little more salt. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mount olive oil into it. I don't know why I quotationed that. I'm actually going to literally mount. I'm not going to mount it. So by mount, means we're slowly gonna add it. You saw that it was still a little chunky. That's because there's not enough oil in there to kind of lubricate everything and get it nice and smooth. So by adding this oil, it will allow everything to get really, really smooth. So let's start again on low. Gear it up. Let's give it a peek. Oh yeah. Now it's nice and smooth. See, it was a little chunky earlier. My God, Mom. So we are now going to make our super funky, I don't know why I'm funky. I just feel like people think it's weird because I use mayonnaise on my grilled cheese, supposed to butter, but it's not weird at all. If you think about what mayonnaise is, it's just oil mostly. There's some egg in there, but egg gets really nice and brown and caramelized easily. This is Big Boy bread. It's named after old Louis Kirchhoff. So I like a good little slice of bread. It's like their fortified, enriched white bread, but it's made, you know, in a local bakery. It is so delicious. It has like more holes than your normal white bread does, but it has that like, oh, it smells so good. Put my face in it. I love it. So I've got my bread. Got a little Gruyere cheese. Gruyere is like similar to like a Swiss, like Emmenthal, or like a Swiss cheese or an Emmenthal cheese, a Gruyere. It's a really good melting cheese. So I'm just gonna break some off. I'm gonna do this on here. You guys, if you're gonna make a really good grilled cheese, grate your own cheese. If you buy the pre-grated, it has some stuff on the outside of it that keeps it from caking, and it just doesn't melt as well. Sliced cheese is great, and I'm a lover of American and Velveeta. I don't care, you call it cheese, I'll eat it. But I like to grate my own. I also think that there's a lot more surface area to get warm quickly, so you get a really nice melt on it. Okay, we're not gonna put all that cheese in there. I'm gonna make some for the crew too. Then I've got some Kenny's Farmhouse, which is a Kentucky cheese. This is his Colby. I really like this. It's super, super melty. And I would also say your cheese grater, this cheese grater right here, these are not expensive pieces of equipment. You should, if you have one that gets dull, you should buy a new one, because nothing is worse than a nice knuckle grade on a dull one when you're really having to struggle. So this is one tool that I do say in the kitchen, it gets dull, just get rid of it and get a new one. All right, let's set these over here to the side. So we're gonna go ahead and turn our heat on. You guys always remember, like, see how this bread is like this and like this? I hate when somehow the pieces that don't match up get together and then you're not, does it work? So make sure you keep your pieces like this and that you butter or mayonnaise the outside of them. So I'm putting a little bit of mayonnaise. It's not a ton. So what mayonnaise doesn't have in it is a bunch of milk solids, like butter does, or dairy fat. So a lot of times those butters solids, those milk fats, will brown before you could actually get everything else brown. So that's why I like to use these. So we're going to, this is gonna get pretty melty pretty quick. Let's do a little taste test. This is definitely more firm, more of a sharp flavor. This is like what I want to put all over my macaroni and cheese. This is what I want to put all over my French onion soup. Nice cast iron skillet. You can do this in a non-stick if you don't feel comfortable in a cast iron. And on this one, a little extra mayonnaise. This is Duke's mayonnaise, y'all. I only put mayonnaise on the inside on one side because, I mean, it's 2 slices of bread, so it only seems right that you would put mayonnaise on 3 sides. If you did it on 4, that'd just be way too much. You can see how some of like the cheese is melting out. Yeah, that right there. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh my God, look at it. It even has like the crispy bits that hang out on the side, and look at how perfectly brown it is. Oh my, and this right here, like these little pieces, shut up, like this. I actually want to make a few extra of those, so I'm just gonna like kind of sprinkle some in here. You want the heat on low. That oil, it's gonna brown. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to get so caramelized on the outside that you don't give your cheese time to melt on the inside. I'm just going to kind of pull it open so you guys can see what's going on the inside. You can see that the cheese that's touching the bread is already melted. So again, low and slow, all right? All right. Hallelujah. Let's give their soup one last final taste. Things taste different when they're seasoned, like when they're hot and when they're cold. The seasoning is different. So let's give it one last taste. It's still absolutely delicious. So let's do some soup in here. So look at that thing cooking right there. Oh my God. So I'm a fan of the diagonal cut. Look at that. Look at where it's like oohing and gooing. And you get like all that gooiness in there, but then you get like the little crunchy bites from the cheese. That, you guys, is grilled cheese and tomato soup inspired by my BB. So let's check it out. Sweet. It's got acid because tomatoes are sweet with acid. The fresh basil is delicious in there. Flip this guy over. Oh my God. It's disgusting, isn't it? Disgusting in like a good way. Let me try the dip. If I could roll my eyes right now, I would, but I don't know how to. I've never been good at it. That's it. Doesn't need anything else. And this is the perfectly healthy. You guys, if you liked this and you want to learn how to cook other cool stuff, check out my website, www.chefsarabradley.com, where we do live virtual cooking classes. We also have some on-demand classes, so you can access them anytime. Check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that button, do that thing. You know what to do. And eat some tomatoes and mayonnaise and bread and cheese. Peace, y'all. Bye. Austin. That's how I lovingly holler my husband's name. Austin. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. I'm gonna make you the perfect bite. Put that in the middle. I'm gonna steal that piece.
I thought that was my perfect.
But I'm still making your perfect bite.
Right.
It's a big bite.
Is it hot or is it good?
Nah, it's not too hot.
Good though. Yeah.
I love you.
All right, love you.
You good?
Good. Can I get some more?
Yeah, you would have some more. Bye, you guys. I'm like drooling. Did you just hit that light? I've only hit it like 15 times today, so don't worry.